Hey guys, this is the Jose Show. It is almost the middle of June and I am so excited because that just comes to show that it is almost summertime. But anyways, we still have a lot of good stuff to talk about on today's show, so now let's get to it. Now, let's start off with Adam Pacman Jones. So Adam Pacman Jones is in so much trouble right now because apparently he got to bust a cop's lip after intentionally throwing an elbow at the officer's face during his arrest Saturday, new court documents obtained by TMZ Sports State. So the incident, according to the docs, took place at the Kenton County Detention Center in Covington, Kentucky at around 1:48 a.m., roughly an hour after Jones had been placed into custody for allegedly being drunk in public. Okay, so the docs state that during questioning outside of a bar at around 12:45 a.m., Pacman cussed at police all while displaying several signs of intoxication, including glossy eyes and slurred speech. So officers determined Jones to be a danger to himself and others in his current intoxicated state, police wrote on the docs, before adding Jones was causing annoyance and alarm to the pedestrians nearby. So Jones was taken to the KCDC, but according to the docs, while handcuffed, he intentionally threw his elbow upwards and struck an officer in the face, causing the inside of the cop's lip to bleed. Alright, so Jones was ultimately booked on 3 charges: public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and assault on a police officer. Okay, so the rep for the former NFL star, though, said in a statement that following the arrest, Adam did nothing wrong other than exercise his right to ask why he was being detained, a fundamental question that every citizen should be allowed to ask without fear of retaliation. Okay, so this is insane that this rep is over here defending this guy, because I believe that this rep needs to admit that this former NFL star was drunk and was behaving so badly and got to assault a cop, because I believe that this rep, if the rep was there, by the way, should have seen it all. Okay, but even if the rep wasn't even there, I believe that the rep should still believe what the cops are saying, because at the end of the day, I know that there are a lot of good cops out there that detain people for really good reasons. And I do believe that these former NFL stars, they love to get drunk, they love to have a lot of fun and this and that. And I'm not saying all of the former NFL stars, I'm just saying that there are a lot out there. And in this case, I really do believe, by the way, that since this person was at a bar, I mean, there were high chances that this person was getting drunk and then violent, especially because a cop was over here trying to control the guy. But if this rep is over here supposedly telling the truth that this former NFL star, Adam Pacman Jones, didn't do anything wrong, then Adam Pacman Jones, I believe, has the right to be fighting this in court against the cops for wrongfully detaining him. And I do personally believe that if these cops wrongfully detain this former football NFL star, then I believe that these cops need to get fired, or they need to get into so much trouble for doing what they did. And I also believe that it must have been really darn traumatizing for the poor guy that he got arrested, and yet again he got arrested in a very aggressive way, supposedly, because of the fact that apparently he was being so disorderly conduct, and he was being so drunk and so. So with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I personally believe that these 2 stories that I just said could be the case here in this case. But out of these 2 stories that I just mentioned here, I do believe, in my opinion, that the cop, I believe, rightfully arrested the guy, because like I said, the cops, a lot of cops out there really do detain people for good reasons, and they really make sure that they're doing their job correctly here instead of doing something really wrongful here. And also, I do believe, though, that now is the time for this guy to fix his own life, fix his own behavior, in order to really get it together and not do any more things like this anymore. And just really give a really good image to everybody out there, because I'm sure that at this point he's already losing his chances of being in the NFL team if he ever wants to return to the NFL team ever again. So there's also that. So with all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't get drunk in public, don't be misbehaving, and most certainly do not be hitting a cop at all, because all of those things is so darn wrong in all levels. All right, that is all I have to say about this. Now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Simone Biles. So Simone Biles somersaulted her way over to shade Riley Gaines on social media Friday night, slamming the conservative activist over her sick comment about a trans high school athlete. So here's what went down. Riley reacted to the Minnesota State High School League turning off their comments for a photo they posted on X celebrating Champlain Park High School winning their state championship with a shout out thanks to a trans pitcher. So she quoted the snap of smiling state champions, writing, "Comments off, LOL, to be expected when your star player is a boy." So enter the 7-time Olympic gold medalist who tore Riley's character apart, writing, "You're truly sick. All of this campaigning because you lost a race, straight up sore loser." She also suggested Riley put her energy into helping sports become more inclusive. So closing her clapback, she added, "One thing's for sure is no one in sports is safe with you around." So Simone didn't stop at the first blow. She took the personal attack to Riley one step deeper, adding in another tweet, "Bully someone your own size," which would ironically be a male. So though Riley admitted she was disappointed by Simone's rebuttal, she came back swinging unshaken and unapologetic. She tweeted, "It's not my job or the job of any woman to figure out how to include men in our spaces. You can uplift men stealing championships in women's sports with your platform. Men don't belong in women's sports, and I say that with my full chest." So she also accused Simone of being a male apologist at the expense of young girls' dreams. So this is really insane, man, that this woman, Riley Gaines, is over here being a whole total jerk, especially towards the trans community, because I think that in this day and age, and I think that in every day and age, we need to be kind, especially towards the trans community, especially towards the LGBTQ plus community. We cannot be disrespectful and rude whatsoever. And this woman is over here showing just how much of a horrible person she is by doing this against a trans athlete that got to win a championship at a state high school, instead of congratulating the trans athlete. Okay, like, leave the person alone, let the person identify themselves for what they want to be, and also let the person be in the sport that they want to be because of the fact that they identify themselves as a woman. Don't be going off saying, "Oh, it's a man, they don't deserve this," and so, because you're basically not only making the person feel unincluded, but also very disrespected and unviolated. And I don't think that's really fair for the athlete whatsoever. And I believe that Simone Biles telling Riley Gaines, "Hey, you need to learn how to be more inclusive towards these teams here," that is actually very valid and very fair, because you are actually letting that person know that we as people, we need to love one another, respect one another in all levels. This cannot be continuing off whatsoever. And you know what? If this person is such a conservative and really is against the people of the trans community, then I feel like this person shouldn't say anything at all whatsoever. I don't think so. It's just so darn wrong. And you know what's even more ridiculous is that this same person, Riley Gaines, is over here tweeting saying about the fact that Simone Biles got to experience some sexual abuse from Larry Nassar shortly after Simone Biles was pointing fingers at Riley Gaines because of the fact that Riley Gaines was being very transphobic towards this athlete. I think that's really dumb, because I don't think that you can be comparing an abuse of a man to having a trans athlete in a sport. Because first of all, this Larry Nassar guy is, I believe, straight. Second of all, this guy is, just a pervert. And, trans people, they're not perverts. I mean, there might be some out there, but not all of them are perverts. Not all of them are abusers. Not all of them are bad people. Like, we live in a world where there are people of all kinds, straight people that are nice, straight people that are not nice, bisexual people that are not nice, bisexual people that are nice, gay people that are nice, not nice, trans people that are nice, not nice. we live in a world of every kind. We cannot be labeling people for people's sexual orientation, when it comes to crimes. We can't be labeling people's sexual orientation when it comes to what they do. Like, a sexual orientation is one thing, and what a person does is another thing. So I just really think it's really stupid that Riley Gaines is over here already pointing fingers on the abuse that she suffered from Larry Nassar, who used to be a gymnast a long time ago. But anyways, was a USA Gymnastics team doctor. That's what he was. So anyways, this is just a bunch of ridiculousness from this woman. This woman needs to keep her mouth shut, and that's all I have to say about this woman. All right, now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. So Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have been pretty much in the little, low profile lately. But Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got to be attending a wedding this past weekend. And apparently a recent photo shows it all. Well, the A-list couple was spotted in Tennessee at a backyard wedding, definitely drawing eyes off the bride and groom, though we're sure they didn't mind. So Taylor's dressed in an ankle-length blue dress, while Travis is decked out in slacks and a button-down shirt. And though they're two of the biggest stars in the country, they're chatting with everyone like they're in any other couple. So the two are smiling and laughing a lot, though there's no PDA in the snaps, so looks like they're on their best behavior around everyone else. So apparently photos are spreading like wildfire online, and it looks like some of the attendees were totally shocked to see the happy couple there, writing amazed captions and posting for their followers online. Alright, so this is really insane, and this is all according to TMZ. So I think it's really cool that we're finally seeing Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift together for the first time in a very long time, because we've been wanting to see what these two lovebirds have been up to, and I think they're doing just fine since they seem pretty happy together in that photo. And they are really cute together, man. They are all for it together, and I am so happy about it, because I think that Taylor Swift deserves a lot of happiness, and she deserves so much light in her life like never before. She's such a hardworking woman. She's always there for her fans. And then Travis Kelce is such a good guy, and he's, always there for his fans, and he's very uplifting, especially towards his own team. And yes, of course, he has his moments just like everyone else does, but at the end of the day, he's a really good guy. And it's really crazy though, having to see that he let his hair grow so long after having his hair so freaking short like last year, because we were all expecting for Travis Kelce to just keep his hair short since he's in the football team. And we've noticed that a lot of athletes in the football team have their hair really short. But I guess he just wants to let his hair grow, because at the end of the day, he wants to make himself look more handsome for Taylor Swift probably. And you know what? He really does look really handsome anyways with his long hair. I just think that he shouldn't let it super long, because if he lets it super long, then it'll look really, I don't know. But anyways, it's really crazy though that all of a sudden they end up popping up in a wedding though. And I do understand though as to why they attended the wedding, because I believe that they are attending the wedding in order to prepare themselves for their own wedding in the future, which could be possible because it seems like that Taylor and Travis are really going step by step in the serious path here into getting into marriage and engagement, because they really are loving towards one another, especially because they've been together for the past almost 2 years now. And let's remember too that they really want to see how it's like to be down that altar. They really want to see how it's like to be around by a bunch of people in a wedding and so, just in case if that day really happens that Taylor and Travis end up getting married. But we don't know though, man, because what happened with Joe Alwyn and Taylor Swift. Joe Alwyn and Taylor Swift, they were together for 7 years and they ended up breaking up. And now this could probably be the case, and I don't want to be a downer here, but I'm hoping though that doesn't end up being the case here. Okay, so anyways, Taylor and Travis please, if y'all are really wanting to get into that situation, please do it. But if y'all really don't feel ready yet, then, don't do it just yet. It's simple, and I mean, Taylor, she's been too busy with her stuff, and then Travis has been too busy with his stuff, and, of course, Taylor Swift just ended a really long tour that lasted for like almost 2 years, which was the Eras tour, and then she just recovered her music catalog not so long ago, and then I believe that Travis might be I don't know, wanting to get back into the team again. And then, of course, football season is going to come really soon again, because, I mean, we're like only 8 months away or 7 months away from the next Super Bowl. So there's also that. So anywho, this is really interesting. But anyways, on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Lizzo. So Lizzo was feeling good as hell and showing it off on social media, giving fans another look at her ongoing weight loss journey. The singer is continuing to flaunt her dramatic slim down, dropping jaws again with a new video on Instagram. On Saturday, Lizzo shared a clip of herself dancing in her backyard in a gray and pink bikini as she vibed out to an unreleased rap track. So apparently, she captioned the post with the bold lyric from the song, "Black truck ass poking out the window." Paris Hilton commented the video, writing hot. Just last month, she made waves in a blue and yellow two-piece twerking poolside to Pluto and YK Niece's viral hit, Whim Whammy. So Lizzo really started showing off her drive to lose weight publicly after South Park mocked her in 2024. She's learned into the mockery by dressing up as the Ozempic alternative named after her for Halloween. Okay, so Lizzo has made one thing clear. This new chapter is all about feeling empowered in her body on her terms. So this is really cool that this is going on here with Lizzo, because this just comes to show that Lizzo isn't giving up at all into losing weight and making herself feel even better, and also giving herself that really nice image, because that just comes to show that Lizzo really is here for, the empowerment of, improving her body image, and then of course wanting to, give a lot of women out there, especially overweight women out there, a really good example that in life you can lose weight and you can go off and exercise as long as you put in a lot of the energy into it, instead of having to just sit there at home and not do anything about it. And she's also really giving out a really good example that, in life you can't give up and you can't just sit there and be like, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. No. What's even more interesting about it and really fun about all of this is that she is showing it off in a bikini. She is out there, especially now that it is almost summer season. And, she's like wanting to, basically be like, okay, well, this is the new Lizzo. I am no longer the Lizzo that I used to be, because now I am committed to basically, give everyone, that huge surprise where, I am not that person that people used to mock. I am no longer that person that people would, laugh at, and that people would point fingers at, and people would say stuff about me. And now I am proving everyone wrong, that I have now gone on to a different level in life, and now I am, somebody else that nobody is going to be recognizing. So that's basically what the example is all about, and I am so happy for Lizzo that she's going on to this path in her life, and I hope that she continues on with this weight loss here, because she is looking just fine, and I am sure that a lot of men are gonna be following her with this weight loss, because if men really want a skinny woman, men really want a skinny woman. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyways, at the end of the day, women look really beautiful in all shapes and sizes, don't get me wrong. But anyways, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.